Okay, so these are just a little, sorry.
Wow.
Move. Oops. Okay, good. It's recording. Okay, sorry about all this. Okay. It's, oh well, I'm just not gonna worry about it. Okay, so I was just thinking about this. Just as I've signed a couple new coaches, and in general, there's just been a couple things that I wish I would have known and done at the beginning, because I kind of failed, and I'm hoping that from my mistakes, you guys will kind of learn. Um, this is after doing 3 rounds of 21 Day Fix and 2 rounds of 21 Day Fix Extreme. This is probably the smallest I've been.
Wow.
I weigh more now, but that's mainly because I have a bunch of muscle from doing the program. But I just wanted to show this picture because this was kind of like, this kind of segues into one of the biggest takeaways that I want you to get out of all this, is to stay in phase one. Okay, so I'm trying to, I gotta figure out something. Sorry. Okay, that's what's better. Sorry. Okay, so the biggest thing I want you to take away is to stay in phase one, and that is a phase where you're excited, where you're, working out every day, where you're drinking your Shakeology every day, where you're just so excited to see the results at the end of the program. Um, this is the most important phase, and if you ever leave it, you're not going to be able to relate to your challengers, and you're not going to have that energy to inspire other people, and your business is going to crumble. And I know this because it happened to me. um,
Mhm.
i I found myself getting burnt out, and just, it is all because I wasn't working out daily, and I wasn't drinking my Shakeology daily. Now, I never went a long stretch of not doing this, but there definitely were, times where, like, for example, in August of last year, I started Country Heat. I did, I think, maybe 2 weeks of Country Heat, and then I stopped. And I think I maybe lived through the rest of that month. But that's just a prime example of not being in phase one. Lucero, you're totally in phase one right now, which is awesome. So I hope that makes sense. Stay there. Um, and one tip that I have, I think, to stay in phase one is to do a new program. And so, um, like, do 21 Day Fix. You can do whatever you want. You can do it more than once, but I would just recommend trying a new program, just so that you get, familiar with the products, but also it's like brand new, and you're excited to see the new results of a different program. Um, One thing that I learned early on is, not to get too excited about, like, somebody saying, "Yeah, yeah, I'll join. Like, sign me up," um, because everyone has objections. You're gonna have to deal with the objections, and so I just want you to be, like, mentally prepared for that. Because I've also seen people get really excited, and then once the objections hit, because they will hit, they get deflated and they lose their steam. And that's exactly the opposite of what I want you to have. I mean, because like think about like how many objections did you have in the beginning? It took me 3 months to join. I'm like, I'm not gonna drink a crazy shake, and I don't know how I feel about paying $160 for a challenge pack. Like, it took me 3 months, and that was a big. The money part was a big deal for us. Um, so just don't forget that. Like, people are going to have objections, and that has nothing to do with you. That is not like, don't take that personally. That's just people are going to have whatever reason they're going to say, they don't have the time, they don't have the money, they don't have this, they don't have that. And all that means is that they just aren't valuing it yet. And so you just have to show them the value, and relate to them. So if somebody has the money objection, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I totally get it. 3 months went by. We only made 35,000 as a family that year. That was a big deal for us to spend that much money. So just relate to them, but also show them how much it's changed your life, and how and like whatever their objection is, the outcome is worth more than that. But just don't celebrate too early, and just be mentally prepared for that. Do not rely on one person. So whatever it is, so like if you're trying to hit whatever it is, a certain rank, or hit Success Club, or you just have like a goal of how many people you want to help each month. It's just good not to, like, one person says, okay, I'm going to sign up this month. Don't bank on them signing up. Keep reaching out to people and keep recruiting, because I've had numerous people say that to me and they're not ready yet, and that's totally fine. But then I find myself in a little bit of a bind, because I really want to hit certain goals. And so I just keep thinking, like, oh, I could just help one more person. I could just help one more person. Um, and so I get burnt out if I'm waiting until, the deadline of my goal to hit it, because I was relying on that one person to do it, but they weren't ready. And so just don't stop. So, like, every day, keep building towards that goal instead of waiting until the end. And just because somebody says yes, don't, stop. Keep going towards those goals. This one is really important. And again, this one also took me far too long to actually do. It took me a year. But personal development is so important. Um, so in August, I kind of, honestly, I feel like my business kind of started to crumble around the time I hit diamond. I hit diamond in May 2015, and that summer was rough. And a lot of it is because I wasn't in phase one, and I wasn't doing any personal development. I didn't start personal development until January of this year, so only a couple months ago. And now I can't get enough of it, and it's totally changed my life. It is so crucial, and I think some people overlook it. But personal development can be a lot of things. It can be listening to team calls. It could be listening to just various things that you find on Facebook or YouTube. It could be podcasts. It could, definitely books for sure. There are just a lot of things that are personal development. So just anything that like kind of helps your mindset, or is teaching you something that you haven't learned before, some way to keep you growing. This one is also important, is to be yourself. Like, who cares if so and so is, has like platinum blonde hair and wears high heels and always has their makeup done? If that's not you, then don't worry about it. You don't need to be that person. You don't want to be that person. You want to be who you are. Um, like, own that and be okay with that. Because the people that you want to attract are people like you, that are your tribe and that can relate to you. Um, so it's just, and it can be hard. And I mean, know that it is your business, and you can run it how you want and how it aligns with your values and your beliefs. Um, I think that the first time I ran into this was at Summit, when I went to Nashville last summer for it, and there just were so many coaches of all walks of life. And it was just really powerful to me to know that it doesn't matter if I don't look, act, or sound a certain way, because I can be me and still make a difference. And so I just love that. Like, there were people of all ages, of all body types, of all nationalities. Like, it didn't matter, and they're doing this. So I just think that's really important to know. Um, Share your story. So Sarah, you already talked about this with your friend, but this is exactly where it is. Don't try and sell. I strongly, as our team, I am really against this. I don't want you guys just to go out and sell and try and get, sell a challenge pack to get certain success club points, or get a certain ranking to, get certain coaches. um, I'm not okay with that. I want to make sure that you're doing it for a good reason. So, like, by sharing your story, you're going to attract people like that. Don't be ashamed of your story, because everyone has one, and other people will relate to it. You're not alone. People go through very similar things. And it can be really hard to be vulnerable about things. This is really critical because it can show people of how life changing, you know, being part of Beachbody is, with being a coach or with being a, customer. Um, I highly emphasize this and really think this is the most important thing, that you're sharing it on social media, in your conversations, just in your everyday interactions with other people, that you're showing them your story. Okay, this is another big thing that I ran into. Um, when I became a coach, everyone was like, get to diamond, get to diamond, get to diamond. And I was like, okay. So I got to diamond, and then it was like, well, what now? Like, it's like it felt like once you get to diamond, you have arrived. And that did not happen. That it did not feel like I had arrived by any means. And so I think that what I want you guys to know is there are two different, basically, and I think I've shared this on the team page, but there are two big coaching business checklists or checkpoints, basically. Hitting Emerald, because that unlocks your business center, that allows you to get your free leads and your Success Club leads, which are awesome. And also, it helps you to, or it opens up your account so that you can start getting team bonuses. Everyone in my downline has a strong leg, or has a shared leg, and so once you hit Emerald, you'll be able to unlock that. As a Emerald coach, each cycle is 14. You get $14. As a Diamond coach, you get $18. Um, so there is an incentive to get to Diamond, because you get $4 more per cycle. Um, but what I want to tell you guys is you need to push to get to 2-star. So right here you can see I have the 1-star diamond qualifications, and then the 2-star. Let's just focus on the 2-star. So to be 2-star, you must be a diamond coach. You must have one personally sponsored diamond on each leg. So that's the little yellow circles. And then you must have a total, or so for a total of 2 personally sponsored diamonds. And then you must have a minimum of 12 personally sponsored coaches, active coaches. So you have, 6 on one leg, 6 on the other. And the reason that I want you guys to know that this is something that you need to push for and not diamond is because once you get to 2-star, you get to open a second business center. And the second business center is really important for income purposes. So when I get to 2-star, I'm going to open a second business center, and I'm going to put it on Tim's weak leg. So you want to put it on your spouse's weak leg, because what happens is you're going to build that second business center, and you're going to get team volume from that, and team volume from the shared leg, and so your spouse will get a lot of cycles, but also you will get a lot of cycles through that because you're above. I definitely think that I don't understand why Beachbody doesn't emphasize this more, because this is a really big deal, especially if you are trying to make this a full, income business. And this is something that you could definitely do. And this is, what all the top coaches do and stuff. You can keep opening more business centers as you build. So like say you have a second one and you build it all the way up to 2-star diamond, then you could open a third business center, and it keeps going on and on and on. And so that's a big goal. I hope this is kind of an advance and maybe over some people's heads, but I just wanted to say you have hit emerald as soon as you can, and then push for 2-star diamond. And then I just want you guys to know you are not alone. And it took me a while to get really connected with other coaches. It's really good to get a success partner, somebody that you can talk business with, and you can bounce ideas around, and you can share goals and stuff like that. Is really critical to get that, but also just to be around people. So I have a handful of coaches that I talk to pretty much daily. And it's just so awesome because they just know the language, and you don't have to explain anything. I'm sure you guys have had things come up and you've tried to tell your best friend about it, and they're like, what? 2 legs? So it's really nice to have that Beachbody support world, because you're not alone. And I also want you to know that it can feel, if you don't have that, it can feel really isolating, and it can feel like you can kind of lose some hope. You can get out of that phase 1. So, in phase 1, we're so excited about our challenge group and checking in and all this stuff. Well, it's the same with your business, that you need that kind of camaraderie. So, you check in on team pages, you find that group of coaches that you really jive with. A great way to meet other coaches is in push groups, or, going to Super Saturday. Lucero, you're in the Spanish speaking Facebook group. That's also a great place to meet other coaches. Just those little niches, things like that is just really critical and important. And so that's basically all I the top 8 tips basically I have for you all.
That's awesome.
The first one is, I think, the most important, which is staying in phase 1.